Before I begin, just a quick note. I've used an LLM to refine my language, but the thoughts and opinions you'll hear are entirely mine. Welcome to my channel. This is a space where I share my reflections on society, culture, and the changes shaping our lives. Some weeks it might be gender dynamics, other times consumerism, the IT sector, education, or even the question of social mobility. The topics will vary, but the goal is the same: to think out loud, to put ideas into the marketplace, and to see what resonates. If you enjoy conversations that aren't about shouting matches but about exploring perspectives, you're in the right place. When I first came across Charlie Kirk around 2018 or 2019, honestly, I wasn't impressed. Truth be told, I carried a bias. Here was a guy who hadn't even gone to college, standing next to people like Ben Shapiro, a Harvard law grad, Dennis Prager on the right, or Cenk Uygur from Colombia on the left. Compared to them, he didn't look like much. But slowly, I started paying attention. And one day it struck me. He was getting better. Why? Because he was using something powerful, the Socratic method. He let people talk, asked counter questions, and guided them to reflect on their own biases. That was fascinating to watch. Now, I won't pretend he was flawless. At times I felt he used sophistry, and I think that's okay to admit. But overall, his technique was interesting, and it forced me to check my own bias, the assumption that someone without an elite education couldn't hold their own in debate. On that, Charlie proved me wrong. If I break down my stance on him, I'd say I agreed with about half of his ideas, disagreed with maybe a quarter but could be convinced otherwise, and strongly opposed another quarter. And you know what? That's fine. That's what a marketplace of ideas is supposed to look like. Agreement, disagreement, debate. But all of that feels secondary now, because his shooting is something far more serious. It isn't just about fringe elements on one side of politics. It reflects something deeper, something far more disturbing. It reflects our growing intolerance, our narcissism, our addiction to outrage in the age of social media. What really disturbed me most wasn't even the shooting itself, as shocking as that was. It was the reaction afterward, seeing people online celebrating his death, celebrating. I couldn't even look at it for long. It felt dark, evil. Disagree with his views? Sure. Debate him, criticize him, ignore him, but celebrating his death? That's not politics. That's inhuman. And I think this isn't just America's problem. It may start in the West, but sooner or later every society, India included, will have to confront it. Because if we lose the ability to argue without destroying each other, then no democracy anywhere is safe. At the end of the day, what stays with me isn't Charlie Kirk the political figure, but the sadness of watching people cheer for another person's death. That's where I feel something inside us is breaking. I don't have neat answers, and I'm not here to preach. In the coming weeks I want to explore other themes too. Gender dynamics, consumerism, the IT sector, education, social mobility, because all of these threads connect to the kind of world we're shaping. That's what I'll leave you with.